Hey everybody, welcome back to Airsoftology Mondays, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch, and also comes through with all of the great answers. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Jonathan Higgs, and again, you guys are awesome. Like, I throw something out there and you just pick it up and run with it. Last week I asked you guys about, I couldn't remember the name of the event or who put on the event or where it was, for the Rainbow Six. And if you guys didn't check out that episode, definitely check it out. I'll put a link over here or something like that for last week's episode so you can click over, watch it, and get caught up in what I'm talking about. But that aside, you guys really came through. For example, Worms Airsoft actually brought one up that I didn't even know about in Sweden. So it was really cool you guys put out all those fantastic answers. It was a ton of you. I mean, it would take me like forever to thank you. So I just want to say personally, thank you for every single one that came through with the answer on that. And if you guys want to watch, I'll have a link to the video that you guys linked up. A lot of people put the links up there, so it'll be down in the description if you guys want to watch that. But all that aside, we are diving on in right now to what you're here for, and I hope you're here for this, and that is the Palco mail call. Jonathan Anari writes, hey Jonathan, if you were to carry 2 full-size AEGs, how would you go about it? I personally want to make a sniper loadout, but without an AEG, I feel like I'd be compromised in a lot of situations. Thanks and keep up the amazing work. So that is a dilemma. If you want full-size guns, normally I would say, hey, there's some great short sidearms or even some other options. Some fantastic ones that are still full-size in my book are like the Evo and things like that. Those are some great guns. They can really reach out and knock somebody down from a distance, but are small and compact, especially with that folding stock. I mean, things like this small once you get it folded down, and some small M4s. But if you want to go full blown, which is your question here, I would definitely say you want to pick up 2 really good 2-point slings. And a 2-point sling is one that attaches at the top and at the bottom of your airsoft gun. So it's just a traditional sling like you'd see on a hunting rifle. Now, the reason I say that is so you can sling one over your shoulder, cinch that sucker down, and go with it. Now, there are some other options too, like the mag pull, like the MS3 sling. That's another one. I own one of those. You can clip on both ends and then switch it to a single point, and it does cinch down as well. Also, keep in mind the size of your AEG too. Stay away from those 14.5-inch barrels or longer. Like, you don't want like a DMR gun or something. Stick with like a 10.5-inch barrel so your whole gun is actually somewhat usable, and you don't want that barrel sticking too much above your shoulder here because it's going to be a little unwieldy if you're trying to sneak through the brush in the woods. So there's just some tips I'd give you if you want to run with 2 guns, whether it be 2 AEGs like a DMR and a regular one, or a sniper rifle and an AEG at a big op. Gaming Glock writes, I'm kind of drifting from Airsoft. What's a great way to get back in the sport? You know, I have this happen to me every now and then. You kind of get bored of the same old, same old. Now, fortunately, I get to travel a bunch, so it's kind of calm to those boredom nerves. But if you live in one area and you play at the same field over and over and over again, it can be a bit monotonous, especially if your field owners aren't that creative with game styles. So what I like to do is try to, if you have the ability to go, and let's say you're like me, I'm a big skirmish and milsim fan, I will go and put myself, what I used to do, play CQB Airsoft, like tight quarters, really in there, going crazy, because it's not the style that I normally play. It's not my favorite style, but it gives me a totally new perspective and kind of reboots my airsoft expectations. And who knows, you may get out there and really enjoy it, and it'll sharpen the skills for the other stuff. The other thing is maybe go to your local field if they're kind of running the same things. Let's say you have an indoor field and it's the same team deathmatch or go defuse the bomb in the middle match all the time. Go talk to them and see if you can mix up the game styles a bit. Something a little more different, something you can kind of switch the field around. A lot of times the refs are just looking for good ideas. They just run the same things over and over again because that's all they know. So throw some ideas out, try to be creative and give them some options. Those are 2 great ways to help rejuvenate your love of the hobby and get back into the sport. Tiger Airsoft writes in on a long one here. I own a Elite Force Walther PPQ and the O-ring has gone bad. Every O-ring I've tried has been too large and I can't seem to find an O-ring anywhere that's small enough. The Moondog O-ring sold on eBike have a caption that says, may not work on some Tokyo Marine models due to the tiny valve. I assume this is the same valve on my PPQ. I've also checked with local hardware stores for O-rings small enough, but I've not had any luck. Any suggestions? Well, you are in really good luck here because you don't have to hunt those down. Now, the Moondog ones are actually designed to kind of fit in the fill nozzle so they don't overspill. They may not be the O-ring in the place that you're looking for. I'm assuming you're leaking from the bottom of the mag. So you pull the mag out of the gun and that's where the gas goes in. If you're leaking from the top, it's a different issue, but my answer is going to fix both of these. Because you have a Walther PPQ, did you know Elite Force actually sells rebuild kits for the magazines? They're right around $20. I think like $19.95 is what they're mapped at. And they come with the top valve, the bottom valve, springs, a follower, the little loading piece where that always gets chipped off the top if you drop your mag, and a few other bits and pieces. All of that in the kit. So with that in mind, you're gonna get that valve you're looking for to replace everything. You can either take it apart and move the valve out, which I wouldn't even do. I would just take that old valve out and put the new valve in, and then you'll be good to go. Also, the valve in that is a pretty common valve. For you guys out there that aren't PPQ owners, you're going, well, great, Jonathan, you're answering a question about one specific pistol that, you know, just a few people own. Well, that valve is a pretty common valve. It'll work in quite a few different gas blowback pistols that take green gas as the fill valve. You're gonna wanna check that, but it's pretty much for respect for the most part. So it might be worth picking one of those up. Now, the top valve may not work for you. That could be a very different valve, but the bottom fill valve is it. Alternately, you can pick up just the fill valves online. You can find them in a couple different sizes. There are some that fit like the Marui, KSC, KJW, those, and then some that are a little bit larger valves. You might have to do a little math and measuring to figure it out, but you can usually find those on like eVic and some other websites for pretty cheap. The only challenge is they're kind of tough to keep an eye on because they sell out the second they get in. So both of those are great options, but considering you have that PPQ, I would definitely just grab that rebuild kit and you'd be good to go. All right, guys, that's it for questions this week, which means it is time for the Code Red Headsets video recommendation of the week. And this one comes from a channel that I've been really enjoying. I've kind of been binge watching. I don't really get to watch a lot of YouTube, believe it or not, because I'm usually spending all my time making videos. But this comes from a fellow Airsofter out there from across the pond over in the UK, and it's Matt the Musketeer. I think I may have mentioned him on the show one time before, and this is his most recent video series. Is coming from, I think it's the Enzo Field, as how you pronounce it. And it's this one is the longest airsoft kill streak. I really enjoy how he puts together a narrative and walks you through the gameplay. It's really fun, and of course, being me from over here in the US, it's really neat to see all the cool places the UK players get to play. All you guys out there from the UK, you know what I'm talking about. You guys are spoiled. I know we have our Milsim Ops over here, but you have some of the most amazing skirmish sites I can imagine. I mean, they're so much fun to watch, and of course, Matt's videos are no exception. So if you guys aren't following him, he's got a really good following. I mean, he's got some big numbers, and he used to be a gamer, so I think, like video gaming side, so I really think that's where he gets his skills and talent of putting together a great narrative around his gameplay. Check out his channel. It's called Matt the Musketeer, and of course, as always, I'll have a link over to the channel in the description below. Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me here on Mondays. And remember, if you want to get your question in the show, it's simple. Put it in the comments, put up your favorites. You know the routine. I read them every week and all that stuff because you guys are awesome. And remember, I will see you at Uprising here in a couple weeks. I am currently in the Redwoods this week, actually, believe it or not. I've been doing a lot of hiking, and I'll be heading down, I think, to around the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm going to try to stop into a few different places in the coming weeks. So if you guys are in the Bay Area, I may try to find a couple stores and just cruise on by. Stay tuned on my Twitter and my Instagram. I'm going to try to be good at posting there. And of course, my Facebook is Airsoftology. It's facebook.com/Airsoftology. I'm going to try to be good about posting, hey, I'm going to be heading to the shop this afternoon. So kind of stay tuned to those. If you guys live in that, San Jose, San Francisco, Oakland, that area, I'll be humping around there over the next few days. But until then, go out, play some Airsoft, have some fun. But no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.